look at the prettiest roses on the planet. Yeah, you heard me right. The prettiest roses on the planet. Eufloria roses, grown right here in the USA. They're grown right in Nipomo, California. And they are absolutely exquisite. I mean, there's nothing better in the world than a Eufloria rose. So we're going to look at them today, tell you a little bit more about them, and I'm going to show you some great, exciting new varieties that you're going to be the first people to see. That's the great part about JTV. You get to see unique new varieties and new products before anyone else does. That's why you come back. So let's get started and talk about them. Just incredible, incredible roses. One of the things that we know is that when we're looking for a rose, we're looking for a quality rose flower itself. We're also looking for the fact that the foliage is beautiful, that the stem length is good, and that they're beautiful, beautiful products. One of the things that you always want to look for is the Eufloria logo. When you see the flower goddess, you know that you're getting Eufloria brand quality, and that's what I love about it. I always look for her. It's Diana, the goddess of war. She had a laurel wreath of roses that she wore in her hair, and that's what we always look for. They have great products that help support this too. Number one being the Rose Gallery. This is a special catalog that you can get as a Eufloria customer. And what this catalog does is it talks about the different rose varieties. There's a DVD inside that tells the entire Eufloria story. It's a great way for you to market this product to your customers and also educate your employees. Inside too, there's a very important card for you to fill out. You want to make sure that you fill out this card and send it back right away so that you'll get all the new updates. When we add new varieties, or if we pull out a variety, we notify you so you can keep your gallery current at all times. Inside is a brief history of the Eufloria company and some of the great things and wonderful pictures of the great people who are there taking care of it. You know, it's amazing to me when I toured the Eufloria growing operation just to see how everybody there cares about these little guys. They're their babies, and every single person you see is carrying them around and caring for them naturally and wonderfully. So, inside this are brief descriptions and a page devoted to each one of the special boutique varieties that they grow at Eufloria. And they're all color-coded. So each page has a color-coded edge. So you're able to see exactly how and where that fits into the color palette. Each one, a different color. This is my favorite. The novelty one too, it's kind of a rainbow stripe, so you know that those colors go with other colors throughout the book. Each one of the pages has indicators on it as to whether a variety is virtually thornless, meaning that you can work with different varieties and you can do special things with them. Let's look at Aqua right now. Beautiful Aqua Rose. Now number one, this is gorgeous Eufloria foliage, but at the same time, what other rose could you do this with? No thorns whatsoever. So it makes it easier and faster for you to work with this product. That's the kind of things that are important. Labor-saving devices. When you work with a rose that has no thorns, it takes half as much time to create any of the beautiful designs you normally would do with that rose. We also have listings on the cards too that talk about whether they have an extremely large head or if they're fragrant. We have special varieties that are bred just for their fragrance. Sweet Moments is one of those guys. Now it's not virtually thornless because for some reason thorns and fragrance go together. But in this case, this is an extremely aromatic rose. 4 or 5 of these roses in a room, oh my God, it's incredible. That's the best part about Eufloria. So we've got those. We also have great brochures too. And they have great brochures to show off all the different things that are available and all the different ways that you can utilize their Eufloria products. The brochure is also a handy way for you to look at the different varieties that are available to you. So these great things are available. This is one of the few companies that does all that information for you. Our colors from our gallery are dead on. They're exactly right. Here's an Aqua Rose, and here's the Aqua Rose picture. It couldn't be more perfect. When you're describing this rose to your customer and showing it, you want to make sure that you're showing something that's absolutely accurate every time. So those are the great things about Eufloria and some of the great, wonderful promotional pieces that they have. But let's also look at the roses and how they come. One of the most fascinating things about Eufloria roses that no other rose can boast is that they come to you in water. When they're cut in the fields, they're put directly into the water. When they're carried into the grading room, they stay in water. After they're graded and packaged, they stay in water, and they stay in water all the way to you. They're hydroponically grown roses, so they grow in cocoa fiber. And what that does is produce some of the finest rose quality known to man. We also don't use any harsh chemicals on Eufloria roses too, so that we use little tiny bugs called Priscillus. They release those out into the fields, and those little bugs go and eat all the other bad bugs. So there's no DDT, no nasty chemicals, nothing that we wouldn't want on our beautiful, beautiful flowers. So we've got our rose goddess right here, and this is how they come. In a great looking percona, and the percona is the plastic container at the bottom. That allows these guys to be shipped on a semi-truck, staying in the proper chemical solutions. They use only Chrysopocon products. This is Chrysopocon Formula 1. It's a hydrating solution that's extremely important to help make these roses as beautiful as they possibly can. This is Milva. It's my favorite. It's the Triple Crown winner. It's won more awards than any other rose, and it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, we also have great Eufloria t-shirts like this. I don't like to call this my orange t-shirt. I call it my Milva t-shirt, because this is my favorite rose. So, those guys go directly into our buckets, and we pull off those sleeves, and because our rose has traveled in water, it's already ready to use. No time processing, taking care of it. We simply need a little bit of time to have that rose open up and be as beautiful as it possibly can. The shelf life of these roses is incredible too. Because they're grown in the United States, they don't travel through borders, they don't travel through export and import, they get to you overnight sometimes, and at the most, 2 days. You've got a rose that's going to last 7 to 14 days. Why would you not want the prettiest rose on the planet? You know, these are the best. And you know, American grown, what could be better than that? So today, let's make something beautiful out of our Eufloria roses. We've got some incredible varieties here too that I want to show you that are actually some of the first to be grown here in the United States. This one, Marrakesh, is incredible. Marrakesh has a caramel color overtone with a little bit of a lavender and a hint of fragrance. It's amazing. The rose breeders at Schuur's told me about Marrakesh the other day. For Queen's Day in Amsterdam, Queen Beatrice of Holland carried Marrakesh exclusively the entire day for all the celebrations. It's a rose that's fit for a queen. And you know what? It's fit for your customers too. It's amazing. We've also got another beautiful white. This guy's called Polar Star, and it's incredible too. Look at the size of that. Another large-headed rose, beautifully transported too, so that we've got beautiful quality, because these guys are never slammed down into a box, packed up, go through all that inspection. They just travel in water to you, and they're able to open up naturally. What more could you ask for? So, we're going to use one of the great new products from Floorcraft today. This is called the Artesia Designer Dome. And what's interesting about it is it's made of Artesia floral foam, but at the same time, we've designed the shape of this to be more attractive for you as a designer. One of the things that we have is a huge depth of foam and also the ability to make angular insertions on the side of this. And with double the design area, double the content of foam, we've doubled the water supply and doubled your security. So Artesia Designer Dome all adds up to wonderful things for you as a florist. We've got to secure this into our base first, and we've got several different ways we can do that. We could do it with chenille stems, we could do it with zip ties. I prefer my anchor tape because waterproof tape is the chicken wire of the future. So we're simply going to wrap this, and you'll notice that we're going to wrap it around end to end rather than side to side. Side to side would cause it not to sit flat on the table, and we also don't want to preclude a lot of the design space that we have. So this is going to hold it securely and make sure that everybody stays inside our base. My trusty Swiss Army knife, sharpened up, and you know we want to make sure that when we're cutting our roses and using them, we're making the proper cut for those roses. We'll start with Milva because these are so incredible. But taking that and making a sharp slanted cut, notice it's not too long, but yet it's sharp and it's beveled. What that is going to do is allow me to place it directly into the foam itself. We'll get my valuable rose gallery out of the way so that you can see exactly what we're doing. First things first, we're going to determine the size of the arrangement itself. So in this case, another sharp cut, and we've determined the placement of how long this arrangement's going to be. When I'm talking about the cut, what's important for you to realize is we want to make that cut sharp and beveled. Many times people do an angled cut, and in the floral industry I've seen people who do stuff like that. It's not really good for any of the flowers because it shreds so much of the capillary system of the flower itself, so it can't take water up inside. That's an important secret you can remember here on JTV. So a short angular cut, much better because it's crisp, it's clean, and we're always working with a sharp knife. We're also going to be able to make a 45-degree insertion off the front of our casket spray. This is great with the Artesia designer dome because there's plenty of foam up above the edge of the container. So we're able to bring that up and insert it without causing any problems. You can see how that angle goes in like that. And see, it's tucked up neatly against the side of my casket saddle. Now that we've formed the triangular shape that we have, it's simply a process of going back and filling in product. I've worked with the great people at Eufloria for several years now, and many of you have seen me at shows throughout the country working with their product. You know, our life is so much more fun when we have an incredible product to work with, and sometimes it's cumbersome when we don't have the ability to work with something that's as pretty as Eufloria flowers. The most important part of what we do as florists is the ability to create beautiful things. Beautiful, pretty things are extremely important, and pretty things happen when you start off with a pretty product. Eufloria flowers, you know what? I'll tell you right off, they're not the cheapest ones, they're the best ones. You always get what you pay for. Because they perform so well and last 10 to 14 days, they're the best rose money can buy. When we went out to Eufloria to help them shoot their new rose gallery, we met some of the great people that actually work out there. Lily, who's the general manager, controls the roses from a computer central station. She makes sure that they're warm enough, cool enough, that they have enough moisture, that they have enough water, that sometimes they need misting, sometimes they need to make sure that the prisimilis are released. She governs all that. She has an entire family of people who work with her, and they make sure that Eufloria roses are the very best and are taken care of just like little tiny babies. And you know what? The pride that everyone has in that rose product is amazing. If you ever have the opportunity and you're out in Nipomo, California, drop by. They love to give tours all the time. They're great people, and they're just as friendly and beautiful as their roses. You know, when you're working with a rose that's this beautiful, it's easy for you to create a profit because your customers are going to be ecstatic about the product that they see, and they're going to be excited to come in and buy more from you. You can charge a little bit more for this rose too, and you should, because it's better than anything else on the market. When people see the comparison of this rose to the products that are available at a lower price, they know they're getting the very best. Working with a product like this makes it profitable for you in your flower shop. Having this makes you the boutique, stylish florist, the place that everybody wants to buy their flowers. That's the beauty of carrying a product like Eufloria roses. The incredible variation of this rose too, look at how there's so many different colors that get involved. And that's a really important part, is just seeing all those incredible nuances and the way that the rose looks. It opens perfectly, it's picture perfect, and every single one here is picture perfect. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, you know what, Jay? I'm sure that Chad sent you some beautiful roses because you were doing a photo shoot. You know what? They're always like this. It doesn't matter where I go or where I see them. Every time you see these, they stop traffic. Again, working with a rose product like this, because the foliage is so beautiful. You notice that I hate to throw it away. I kind of stack it all up on the side. But at the same time, there's only room for so many stems at JTV. So sometimes we have to move them on. And I'm going to add to my creativity. I've always said, when I can stand on a bunch of rose stems, I'm even more creative and I make prettier things. When I'm knee deep at night, that's when the prettiest stuff comes out. This is a rose called Neriah. It has a high petal count and it opens geometrically, so it has a little bit more point and a little bit flatter head. We're going to add these beautiful Neriah in here because they add color, they add a little bit of difference, and we're also going to add depth. So you'll notice I'm going to go shorter with these than I did with my Milva. So that more intense color is down deeper into my floral design. You'll notice when I was creating my arrangement, I didn't add any greenery to the foam before I started making this arrangement. It's one of the key secrets that I've always done and one of my favorite secrets I share with you at JTV. Greenery, I think, goes in last. That way we can use it as an accent piece, we don't take up a lot of our foam, and it doesn't take away from our floral arrangement. We use a lot less too, which turns into profits for you. The thorns are actually a natural protective system for the flower itself. That's why roses have them. Because they're so beautiful, it prevents bugs from climbing up the stems and getting into the flower itself. So it's a natural thing for flowers to have thorns, but we're lucky that there's great people at some of the breeders like Schuur's in Holland that are able to breed in our virtually thornless varieties or special fragrant varieties. It's a science, and it's amazing to see all of that stuff happening, where they're taking beautiful roses and trying to make brand new colors all the time. Now we're going to add another award winner, which is called Moscow. Moscow is a tween-colored rose. What I mean by that is it's a rose color that's between two colors. It's between orange, it's between pink. It's kind of a watermelon color, so we call it a tween rose. When we add this with the other roses, it has a tendency to take on more of an orange cast when placed with orange roses. If we put it next to pink roses, it has a tendency to look more pink. Moscow is one of those great colors that looks great with just about everything. It's only available from a few growers too, and Eufloria is one of the people who grow it best. So it's great to have this rose around to add to other arrangements because it's going to give you a special color nuance that other places aren't going to have. Eufloria roses too are durable and they're sturdy. Notice, no need to ever put a wire in Eufloria roses. Well, actually, no need to put a wire in any rose ever. It's really bad behavior. You'll see I'm making this casket spray in about 10 minutes. The great part about that is you can work faster by using Eufloria roses. This little jewel right back here is called Sinai. Sinai just won the Best of Show competition at the WFSA convention in Orlando. It's an incredible rose, and we're going to add it to go along with our orange flowers. Orange and pink is one of the hottest color combinations that are out there, and the variegation that comes along with this hot pink Sinai rose in with the Milva and the Neriah is incredible. And notice how the Moscow rose serves as a transition for us. The Artesia base is handling the weight of all these roses incredibly well. Number one, because Artesia holds the water, it grips the stem securely, and it makes sure that my flowers are safe and sound. That's the great part about it. It is a great designer foam, and it's wonderful for the flowers that go into it. We've got just a few more placements in this casket spray. That's going to make it perfect. Now, the final step that I have with this is to add crowning glory. I've used the Artesia Designer Dome, which allows the water to get to my roses. I've used the finest, most beautiful roses on the planet to create something incredible. But I want to make sure that it lasts for my customer. And I want to increase that longevity by 26% by simply adding crowning glory. We're going to make sure that we coat everything completely, front and back. I like to use 2 bottles of crowning glory because it helps coverage and it makes sure that it goes a little bit faster. Using 2 of them makes the job go twice as fast. Now what you're going to be able to notice with this too is I didn't have the need to use any foliage because the Eufloria foliage is incredible. Look at that. That's what it's all about. Making beautiful flowers and simply using roses and nothing else and the beautiful foliage that comes with them. You can't count on that from anybody else. Eufloria are the only ones that do that. So, I guess you know my favorite roses are Eufloria. I'm crazy about them. I'd walk through fire for the prettiest roses on the planet. I want you guys to search out and find all the wonderful things that are going to make your floral arrangements the most special thing on the planet. An easy way for you to do that is to come back to JTV every single week, because we're getting new things every single week, new ideas, new techniques, new products, so you can use them